Hey y'all, so you're thinking about buying your new construction home in Houston, Texas, but you're getting a little overwhelmed with all the details of a new construction process? Don't you worry. I'm going to spill all the tea on this video right here and give you 7 steps on how to purchase your new construction home with ease so that you can walk out of this stress-free. So sit back, relax, grab your coffee or your mimosa or your chai tea latte, and let's get started. First thing that we're going to do is we are going to assess our financial situation. So that means that we are going to come up with a budget before we step into the model homes. Now, this is something that you're going to do completely on your own before you even hire a realtor. You're going to go through your budget. You're going to go through your expenses, all the things that you need to pay off, any car notes, any business expenses, startup fees that you may have. That number is going to determine how much you're able to afford comfortably before a bank even tells you how much you're able to actually afford with your financial situation. This prevents you from overspending and honestly becoming house poor. What does our credit score look like? Typically, we want to have at least a 620 credit score before we even try to get pre-approved. A lot of builders offer incentives throughout that we're going to talk about in the video, and those incentives will typically require you to have a certain credit score minimum in order for you to qualify for them. So a 620 to a 640 credit score is usually a good score to achieve those builder incentives, as well as make sure that you are in the best position to get a decent interest rate when the time comes for you to close on your home loan, whether you're buying an inventory or you're buying a built from scratch construction. Now, another thing when assessing your financial readiness is your savings. How much do you have saved? Typically, you want to have your down payment saved, which is about 3.5% of that sales price. Now, the benefits of using a new construction builder is that a lot of new construction builders typically offer a incentive for your closing costs. Sometimes they'll give you 10, 15, 20, or they'll say that they'll cover all of the closing costs outright. But you don't want to have to bank on that, so I always recommend saving a certain amount of money so that you can have enough money for your closing costs and for your full down payment. All right, so step 2, you're going to want to find a realtor that specializes in new construction communities and homes. That is extremely important because there are new construction communities popping up every single day in Houston, Texas. Picking a great realtor is also extremely important when you're relocating. Not only do you need a realtor that specializes in new construction, but it would also be really great to work with a realtor that has worked with relocation clients before. When you're relocating, you typically need a lot more communication, more hands-on, on-the-ground work. A lot of the times, your realtor can be helping you out with just opening doors for movers, helping you with finding contractors, maybe an interior designer. Sometimes your realtor may also help you find a short-term lease or a short-term apartment while your home is being built. So it's very important to work with a realtor that understands the dynamics of relocating. Make sure that you're looking for somebody that provides resources and offers a lot of free knowledge ahead of time that you can understand and know their value before you ever have to speak with them. That's my advice to first-time home buyers. I personally relocated from Florida to Texas back in 2021, and I only had 20 days to do it. So if you'd like a little bit more about my origin story, let me know in the comments below so I can tell you about my relocation process, how much it costs, and what the process would look like if you were to relocate to Houston, Texas today. The reason why I recommend having a realtor when you're purchasing a new construction home is because when you're buying a new construction home, that new home sales consultant is a wonderful person and they're going to guide you through the transaction just as much as a realtor would. However, they are not representing you. So your best interest is not their first top of mind because they are an employee of the builder. They are a representative of the builder. So when you hire a realtor to represent you in the transaction of a new home sales, then you are putting yourself in the position to be best represented because you never know what could happen. I've had a client's home blow down in the middle of the process of it being built, and it changed the entire time frame of their home. Having a realtor when you are purchasing a new construction home is going to help you have peace of mind, especially if you're relocating to a new state, because they are boots on the ground. They're there for you whenever you want. And a lot of the times that helps create great and beautiful friendships at the end of it. All right, so step 3 is definitely to get pre-approved. The reason why I recommend getting pre-approved after you find a realtor is because when you find a realtor, that realtor will typically have at least 2 or 3 preferred lenders that they've worked with in the past. And if you're working with new construction builders, You will usually want to get pre-approved with multiple builders that are offering different types of incentives. Sometimes builders will offer incentives like interest rate buy downs, closing cost incentives, and if you're buying a home that will be complete within the next 60 to 90 days, a lot of the times those interest rate buy downs are locked in. So you can get an interest rate as low as 2.99%, 4.25% is very common. 5.25 and 5.75 are also very common interest rate buy downs that builders are offering. So some of the benefits of getting pre-approved early is that when you're pre-approved before you even really start looking, you are showing builders that you are serious. You're showing builders that, look, I'm ready to put pen to paper and I'm ready to get the ball rolling. Okay. And 9 times out of 10, when a builder sees a pre-approval already coming in from a buyer, this piece of paper shows me that they are serious. And that's what you want people to think when you walk into a model home. You don't want builders to think that you're coming in to waste their time, because you want to be able to negotiate freely. And if you are coming in looking like you're going to waste their time, they're not going to negotiate back and forth and try to give you the best deal possible. Usually when your credit is pulled, you have 30 days to continuously get your credit pulled by different mortgage loan officers to shop around for different interest rates. Different loan officers will give you different interest rates, different pre-approval amounts. And in order for you to figure out which one is the best, you have to shop them all. Now it's time to have fun. Now it's time to go shopping. Step 4, researching builders and communities. If you have a realtor that specializes in new construction, I'm not going to say this should be easy, but it will be a lot easier than if you were doing this on your own. I can point them to different builders based off of the style that they're looking for, based off the community that they're looking at, the amenities. All those things are extremely important when you're working with a new construction realtor. It is extremely easy to get overwhelmed by all the different communities, the different builders, the different incentives, all the different things that Houston has to offer. It is so easy to get overwhelmed by it, especially if you're not familiar with the cities and you're trying to pick a neighborhood or an area to move to. Hire a new construction realtor. And I say new construction realtor for a reason, because new construction deals and new construction homes are not on the MLS. So when you work with a realtor, 9 times out of 10, they're going to go and send you an auto email list of homes. Builders do not add their new construction home deals to that list unless the home is already built, about to be completed, or it has been sitting on the market for a very long time and they need to get eyes on it because they're not getting enough foot traffic to their model home. I work with so many new home sales consultants that don't put their homes on the MLS and they send me off-market deals all the time. So it's extremely important to work with a realtor that is familiar with new construction deals, because they'll be able to tell you, hey, this community is coming up. Oh, hey, this community is closing out. I think we should jump on this. All right. So once you have come up with the community that you like, the builder that you like, you know where you're going to be, and you're ready to pull paper to pen, it's time to sign the contract. We're ready to choose our options and our upgrades, and we're ready to pay our first bit of earnest money. What is earnest money? Earnest money is going to be the deposit that you use to take the house off the market. This money typically is about 1 to 2% of the price of the home. So I always tell people, budget about $3,500 if you're buying a $300,000 home. You know what I mean? Most builders are pretty lenient on their earnest money. That earnest money doesn't go to waste. It is rolled into your down payment. All right. So once you pay your earnest money, now it's time for you to go to the design center. Typically, you have about 30 days after you sign the contract to go to the design center. Some builders might have stricter timelines. Some might have a little bit more lax of a timeline. A lot of the times I tell my clients, especially when they're relocating, you need to be here. You need to be here for the design center. That allows you the opportunity to really see what you want in person, feel the texture, see the paint colors. All of those things are extremely important. In the design center, we are going to be picking out your options, your finishes. This is when everything comes to life. This is where you get to play interior designer. And honestly, it's the most fun and the most stressful part about the new construction process, because after you go home from the design center, you're thinking about, did I make the right choices? Like, does this make any sense? But you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm going to take pictures throughout the entire process. I'll be right there with you. I'll hold your hand. Take your time. Don't rush you. That's why I say hire a realtor, because ain't going for that. Anyway, take your time in choosing your options and your upgrades, because you need to make sure that is what you love. Because if you try to change it later on, after they've already installed it, you can't change it. You can change it maybe like Like a week or two after it's ordered, you can probably do a change order. But if it's already there, it can't be changed. So take your time with your options and your upgrades. I literally cannot stress that enough. Now on to step 6. Step 6 is the longest. Step 6 is the waiting game. Step 6 is when they are actually building your house. During this time frame, I usually recommend to my clients to come one time before closing, and that is during the framing stage. When your house is being framed, a lot of people like to come in, they like to write Bible verses on their home. They like to just, pray over the framing of their home. I always encourage it. I recommend people come down 3 times, design center, framing, closing. That's it. And framing is extremely important for a lot of people. Sometimes people can't make it, so they ask me to do some things for them, and I enjoy doing those things that make their home special. But after framing, it's pretty quiet. Me and you will talk pretty often. I'll send you pictures, updates on your home so that you know what's going on. I'll be in communication with your construction manager so that you're aware of what's going on during that time period as well. And your realtor, whichever realtor you're using, they should be able to send you pictures and whatnot. Now, let's say after all of this, you decide not to use a realtor. Your new home sales consultant should be also able to send you pictures and do everything like that for you as well. A lot of the times, if you have a larger builder that may be a more mass builder, like a DR Horton or a Lennar, their new home sales consultant might be working with 30 or 40 people at a time. So it might just be a little chaotic for them. They do have very difficult jobs, and a lot of the times it's only 1 or 2 of them in the office. So do give them some grace, but when you hire a realtor, it's a little bit more personalized. During that time period, it's very quiet. Make sure that you maintain good credit. Make sure that you don't commit any crimes, don't get evicted. Stay on top of your bills. Don't go late on any payments. Just chill out during this time period. Now, if you are relocating, this is a good time for you to get a job. You're going to need to have a job that says that you are going to be able to pay your mortgage while you are living in Houston, Texas. In that process, you are looking for a job. You are finalizing school for your kids. You're relocating. You're moving here. Honestly, it moves kind of quickly. So, the process does seem like it may take a very daunting time, but the waiting game is the hardest part. So right before the final walkthrough, you have a time period where you can get a third-party inspection. As a realtor, I always recommend getting a third-party inspection. Even though the house is brand new, you always want to get a second opinion, and that's what a third-party inspector is. A third-party inspector is going to come into your home completely unbiased and look at every single thing that the builder has done, assess it. They're going to notate the things that they see faulty, things that they see wrong. So it's extremely important to have a third-party inspector. Your realtor should be able to recommend a third-party inspector to you, so you don't have any issues when it comes to finding one. At your first walkthrough, that is your blue tape walkthrough. Now, a lot of the times, my clients are not there for their blue tape walkthrough because their blue tape walkthrough is about a week before closing. That gives the construction team time to make any type of repairs or things that we might find during that blue tape walkthrough. The first walkthrough is typically going to entail just putting tape on paint touch-up areas. I've seen hairline cracks on windows. We've seen the plate covers of switches upside down. Sometimes you'll be playing around with the switches and the switches aren't turning on, so there might be an electrical issue. Those things are things that we usually find during a blue tape walkthrough, so it's extremely important to be thorough. Those walkthroughs will usually take anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours. The construction manager is usually present during those times as well, and they're going over the inspection report from the third-party inspector, as well as warranty information. And step 7, the final walkthrough and closing. You have made it. So after that blue tape walkthrough, hopefully there's nothing too major that needs to be fixed that doesn't delay the closing. But if all goes well, then it's time for our final walkthrough. Our final walkthrough is usually within 24 hours or on the same day of closing. That's when you'll walk around the house. You'll make sure that everything looks perfect. There's always going to be paint touch-ups to be made in a new construction home, but for the most part, everything else should be 99% perfect. So the final walkthrough is just usually a quick walkthrough. If you weren't there for the blue tape walkthrough, final walkthrough might be a little bit longer because they'll usually go over the warranty information. So right after the final walkthrough, typically a couple hours later, we have closing, and we'll go to the closing table. You'll sign all your documents. And then right after that, you have to go back home. You thought I was going to say you're going to get your keys at the closing table. Nope. You get your keys at the model home that you just left from your final walkthrough. So you got to drive back to your community. Hopefully that's not too far. Some builders will get the mail key for you. Some builders will require you to go to the post office and get the mail key yourself. It just depends on the builder, and they'll tell you if you're going to have to go to the post office and get your mail key, or if they already have your mail key and you can get it there. You're getting your keys. We are popping champagne in front of your garage, and we are celebrating the fact that you are now a homeowner, and a homeowner to a beautiful new construction home in Houston, Texas. If you feel like this video would be helpful to anybody that you know that might be purchasing a new construction home, whether that's in Houston, Texas, or somewhere else, I feel like these tips are pretty applicable to anyone that's buying a new construction home. Let me know what you think about the process of buying a new construction home. Would you do it? Does it sound stressful? Do you think you could do it if you have some help? And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share so that you can let somebody else know, hey, I think you can benefit from this information. Until next time, ciao.